were met. And the vision for San Fernando is real as follows. Start off with the squatting communities and the regularization of hundreds of homes delivered to our most vulnerable people. How do you address inequality? How do you address the scourge of crime if you don't fix the most vulnerable first? Take a trip past the roundabout that is to be constructed by this project. And at that location, you will see that we have already cleared the Ministry of Work site for the occupation of 241 homes right at that site opposite Rudal Cemetery. Work your way forward. Get to the extension at Rushworth Street that this project delivers and ask yourself why governments after governments, members of parliament for San Fernando West after members of parliament for San Fernando West did not see the logic of connecting 100 feet of road from Rushworth Street to the waterfront. Why? Because when you get to the PTSC bus yard, that land, 14 acres of it has been vested in UDICOT. 14 acres of it has been awarded already to Hafiz Karamat Engineering Services Limited. $750 million of housing and commercial development have already been anchored by way of public-private partnership arrangement. And this week, if you pass now, you will see the hoarding being constructed. Come a little lower down to this site and ask yourself why the largest hospital serving the largest basin in the country has no car park. Then talk to Tommy Chanona, who has received the award Key Chanona Limited for 1,000 car parks that start in this month. Where would your water taxi parking go? Where will your boardwalk parking go if not in 1,000 car parks? Take a trip down. Come closer to our wharf. Know that the contract has already been secured for the redevelopment of a fishing port. Ice storage, jetties, marine police, built around a thriving community. Picture and tease your imagination with fish fry, with restaurants, with cold storage, with dignity for our fisher folk. Now, ladies and gentlemen, go to what was the waterfront. 3.8 hectares of land previously being developed without a certificate of environmental clearance. Picture on that 3.8 hectares our version of Movie Town, our version of Invaders Bay, our version of hotel facilities, conference centers, already in the safe hands of Van Org as the contract is alive and well and kicking. Now for a moment, connect the wharf straight down to Hatters and picture our version of a boardwalk lit with lights, music playing, where you hold your loved one's hand and you walk from Hatters all the way up to Plaza San Carlos, which is being renovated courtesy the Cuban government as they are experts at restoration. As I recognize the chairman of NIDCO here, the executive manager of NIDCO here, Mr. Gardner, and he will tell you Millfleur was developed by the Cubans. The restoration of Whitehall, Stallmeyer's Castle, President's House that Port of Spain got, San Fernando gets. But don't stop there. Come to South and come to Skinner Park. Gifted in 1926, last coat of paint effectively in 1986. And ask yourself, where was our Queen's Park Savannah? Why were we given no turn at the wheel? Take a trip across the housing development at Carlton Lane, the extension at Roy J., the extension at Olera Heights, the redevelopment of Mbakade, and ask yourself why no MP agitated for that. Our boardwalk. I, as a scout, grew up swimming in that water, swimming to Farallon Rock, dragon boating, racing. Gene Wilkes, Rodney Wilkes, our cyclists and our runners, our squash players never had their fair turn at the national wheel, even though they excelled, because they didn't have the dignity of facilities and vision. This all sounds good. A politician on a platform on the eve of an election. Sounds like your classic mama guy. So why now? Why today? It's because as Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs of Trinidad and Tobago, I know that a project will be stopped if you don't have your certificate of environmental clearance. I know as we stand in a COVID country today where our country has been locked down with borders closed for the first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. I know as a member of the cabinet, watching the price of oil plummet in 2015 and 2016, a loss of 96% of our revenue, that you cannot achieve a vision if you don't go through procurement, you don't award the contract, you don't have the financing, you don't have the stakeholder improvement, and you don't have your certificate of environmental clearance. In other words then, making it real requires locking down all of the regulatory and procurement cycles. That's why right now, that's why today, that's why this project and this launch has had no precedent in San Fernando, because we are not with a minister with a foot on a shovel turning some sod. Instead we have Jusamco. Instead we have Kusals. Instead you can see the equipment on the road. You've seen the notices in the newspaper saying we apologize for the inconvenience of development as we take San Fernando forward with the reality of a project. I've not even yet told you that the San Fernando Magistrates Court turns sod next week, God willing. I've not told you that the family court in San Fernando at the St. Joseph's Convent Clooney building, thank you Mr. Gardner, is ready for launch. I've not yet told you that the redevelopment of the Magistrates Court, as it fell into its problems with the earthquake, is intended for the creation of our criminal division next to our civil division. I've not yet told you that we have surveyed every inch of squatting land in San Fernando, and that we have a technique to redevelop lives, and that we have built and will conclude hundreds of homes for the most disadvantaged. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the combination of projects yields close to 15,000 jobs in identifiable projects. I don't stand before you as a political leader in the current domain promising a plan that has no specificity. I can tell you certificate of environmental clearance, contract awarded, and my version and the PNM's version and the government's version of the waterfront has 33 identifiable projects, all underwritten, all secured. It is that combination of effort that allows our city its chance at the wheel. It is that combination of hope, vision, prosperity